What up, world? How everybody doing? I'm back. Um, I said this time we'll get into chapter 1 of the love and respect experience. Um, I've been doing okay. How about y'all selves? How is love moving in your life? How is finances moving in your life? How is nurturing your kids moving in your life? We done been through a tragedy, so we're pushing forward. You know, I guess we're re-educating ourselves without being persuaded. I see that a lot of people reading. It feel good to walk down the street in the hood. You know what I mean? See people sitting on their porch with a book open, reading. I like it. You know what I mean? But I said this time we'll get into an introduction of me and the ex-wife relationship. And once again, I want to give it up to the author, Dr. Emerson Everidge's. I want to give it up to him. The Love and Respect Experience. Good book. I recommend it. I don't recommend it on a level that like if you're trying to get a divorce, go get the book. Nah, I recommend it on a level of if you have followed these steps, at the end of those steps it should tell you whether you should keep fighting in your marriage or you should know that this is the end of your marriage. And I knew it was the end. It was things that I was doing way before I got a hold of this book because I went inquiring. You know what I mean? I went asking a lot of people how to do this, how to make this right after you done did this, and this. And the best thing that could ever come into my ears, come into my understanding is that, stop looking at what others do to you. Start looking at what you do to others. And if you can correct that about you, and things don't get right, I ain't gonna never say it won't you. You got what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with another person. But that should tell you that it's more to it than just the way you have treated someone. It's sometimes it's a fight within the other person. Sometimes it's a fight within them because I've been with women that we sit down and we talk about getting some things straight. We air some things out. 2 weeks later, we back at the same conversation again. So you're only fixing this for now. You're not fixing it forever. And I'd rather be in a relationship with a person that understands I'm not going to just work on this because for the now, for the day to have some peace. I'd rather be with a person that understands, let me work on me because this is where I want to be forever. You know what I mean? If all it is something for now, that should be explained at the jump. It shouldn't be no, I'm searching for a relationship. I'm searching for a friendship. I'm searching for a cut buddy. I'm searching for somebody I can just kick it with over the phone. I'm searching for somebody I can just get money from. If we be more upfront about what we want, we'll know how to go about getting it. Because honestly speaking, it don't take nothing but a couple of words and a question mark. That's it. You're going to get a yes or you're going to get a no out of it. I don't know if any strings going to come attached with it because I'm not everybody. I'm only me. I know how I do me. I know how I want to be treated, how I want others to treat me, so that's how I treat others. But I'm going to get into, how we met. Then I'm gonna get into chapter one because it's a small chapter, you know what I mean. But I basically moved back to Virginia from North Carolina, from Charlotte, North Carolina, and you know, I was probably, this may have been my second job. In a way, I was in between jobs, you know what I mean? But when I met my wife, my ex-wife, I was coming from a job interview. This guy, you know, I call him a friend. I look at him as family, a guy named Jamal. We had a falling out a while ago. Before I saw him in 2006. And it was raining. And I seen him at the bus stop. So I said, shit, let me get Maul. It's fucking raining. I take him home. So Maul really wasn't ready to go home. So I took him on back to Cuz house with me where I was staying at. And we got to talking. You know, he got to telling me we could go chill over these women house, smoke this blunt, which I ain't mind because I just came from a job interview. Basically, told me I got the job. It was a temp agency, but they was sending me to work for this place called Lutron, which is they deal with your electrical blinds. You know what I mean? They run off of remotes. They're not manual blinds that you put in your windows. They electrical, but we go over, their house, which Maul already explained to me, the woman I married wasn't his woman. It was just cool, you know what I mean? But it was another woman there, which was her cousin named Vicky. And you know me, I'm trying to shoot my shot at Vicky for real, you know what I mean? Because if this the woman, if my ex-wife was the woman he called to go chill with, then I ain't hollering at that. I'ma holler at the other woman, you know what I mean? But to make a long story short, she had asked, could I take her to Walmart to pick up her contacts? And me, her, and Jamal, we got in the car, went up there, and when Jamal went in the store or something, man, she just started hitting on me. She started explaining she liked me. We started talking, bam, 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 and she gave me her number. And well, she really explained it's on the call ID. I said, well, I'll get it when I get home. So when me and Jamal got back to the house, she called, you know what I'm saying? And make a long story short, eventually she invited me over for dinner, you know what I mean? And I eventually, I liked her. I liked it, the part about, she didn't have a job, but she was going to school, she was going to college, you know what I mean, to further her nursing degree, so I liked it that. And after we got to be a routine of me visiting, spending the night, you know what I mean, I started understanding the days that I really need to be there, and those the days that she go to school because she didn't have a car. She was relying on someone else to pick her up and take her home from school, and where the bus dropped you off at, it is a walk. It's a walk, because her school and her college she was going to was in Chesterfield, the tip of Chesterfield. And it's a walk. So being that Cuz had a van and a car, and damn near worked 7 days a week, so I always kept the Taurus. The Taurus I always had. And the green light was really go. You was after, I'll call, I ain't gonna say I have to, but I'll call out of respect because it's his car. You know what I mean? Let him know what I'm doing. Whether or not, gas in the car, stuff like that, man. Because we had a gas connection where, gas was basically free for us. But, you know, that'll let me know when to pull up to the pump with him, so you know, we could fill the car up. You know what I mean? But he even liked her. You know what I mean? He liked the part. Oh, at least she going to school to do something with herself. She ain't just a mother with 2 kids laying around. At least she trying to get something done. So, you know, I made sure that, you know, I took her to school, picked her up from school. Never charged her gas money. Never. I'm just a person, you know, if I see you trying to help yourself, then I'm going to help you. You got what I'm saying? The hell is, you know, honestly, what is gas money? You know what I mean? It's really nothing when you're going in my direction. Yeah, when I drop you off at school, I do got to turn back around and come back down Midlothian to get to where I live at. But it ain't that far. It's probably about a 5 to 10 minute drive. So it didn't mind me to, you know, leave her house from the north, take her to school in the south, go back to where I was staying at with cuz in the south, pick her up, take her back. It didn't, you got what I'm saying? It didn't bother me in it. By the time I started working, she had already graduated. Cause when we met, she was at her graduation point anyway. So you know what I mean? It's probably like a week or 2 of schooling. You know what I'm saying? And where I started working at is in Ashland, which is a little bit ways from her, no more than probably a 5-10 minute drive away from where she was living at. So I started staying there. You know what I mean? Then I was working a second shift. You know, I started staying there, chilling, you know what I mean? But tell you something I learned early on about her. And I forgave her. I ain't gonna never forget it, but I forgave her. It was her cousin birthday weekend. They call themselves, you know, partying, going down to like the Eastern Shore area. That's like Norfolk, Newport News, you know, Portsmouth, that area. And you know, I'm keeping her kids. You know what I mean? I'm watching her kids while she's gone. You know, I don't get a phone call the next morning. I don't get a call, you know, just to say, hey, is my kids all right? Is my kids bothering you? This may be a month or 2 months in, to be honest with you, because I don't believe mine was there that weekend, because I didn't start bringing my kids around till after 3 months. But when she got back, you know what I mean, I just immediately, like, I'm out. You know what I mean? I was basically really like almost done with her for real, because it showed me a mother, you know what I mean, that didn't have the concern too much for her kids. You know what I mean? I'm basically a stranger. Yeah, I've been around. Yeah, I come through. Yeah, you know, I'm over there probably 3, 4 days, maybe 5 days out the week. You know what I mean? But I'm basically a stranger. This could be the moment that I kidnap your kids. This could be the moment I kill your kids. You got what I'm saying? So with me, I just don't leave my kids with anybody. You know what I mean? It's family members. I don't trust my kids around. You know what I mean? I could be in the kitchen. I got a big ear open and I got an eye peeping. You got what I'm saying? But I found out later how much she do love them. You know what I mean? That one thing I had to correct in my thoughts. You know, it shouldn't have never been a question mark whether she loved her kids. That woman would put on gasoline drawers and run through fire for them little, I ain't gonna call them rugrats, because I still love them. You know what I mean? I do. They just some spoiled, materially and mentally. They're spoiled. You know what I mean? And they was that way when I got there. You know. But I did find out later, and I had to testify to it later, you know what I mean, that it wasn't right for me to bring my BS into their life, because they already had BS going on in their life. So I might be fast forwarding a little bit and everything, but once again, I love them. But I found that out about her. What I found out about the youngest boy, he's really used to doing whatever he want to do. He's taking a car. We're leaving where I live at. I probably was coming to get some clothes, change the underwears, change the clothes, and we're leaving there. He's taking a metal Hot Wheel car, taking the metal part, scraping it on the glass windows in the car. So I'm like, can you stop? As I say that, he look at me, I'm driving, you know what I mean? He look at me like I said something wrong. He take the car and throw it at me. It didn't hit me, it went across me into the front windshield. Immediately I stopped the car. I asked her to get her child. You know what I mean? He stopped, because it was explained to him, don't put the metal on the window, put the rubber wheels, roll that on the window. You know what I mean? But he stopped, but it was a bunch of whining. He wasn't no more than like 3 years old. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of whining about it because I could tell he was being raised where he could do what he wanted to do. You know what I mean? I don't believe she had a lot of discipline in disciplining her kids. You know what I mean? I really don't. I believe they could run around there and tell her what to do. You know what I mean? And eventually they run in the house. But I learned a lot early on. You know what I'm saying? And to get back to her going down the Eastern Shore area, I also had in my mind, I said, man, this woman probably cheated on me. You know what I mean? The woman probably went down there, got with a nigga, blah, 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 bam, 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 because you won't answer your phone. You know what I mean? And then the same night that I'm explaining about the metal Hot Wheel car on the window, some dude called her that night, just kept calling her while we was on our way to her house. And she said, can you handle this? And I said, what's going on? She said, I don't feel like talking to this dude. So how I explained to whoever dude was on the phone, because I'm not going to say I was in a relationship with her then, because no one ever say you my woman, you my man. We just doing whatever. You got what I'm saying? We seeing each other every day. We talking to each other every day, but there was no commitments verbally said, you know what I mean? But like I told dude, I said, well, look, man, could you stop calling and call her tomorrow? Because right now I'm with her. Tomorrow I'll be at home, you know what I mean? You can talk to her all day. So that was the end of that, you know what I mean? But that also told me that she was, kicking it with somebody, you know what I mean? And one thing I want to explain, I'm not saying she's an easy woman, and I'm not saying most women are easy. But if you find a woman out here that don't have a vehicle of their own, and you have a vehicle, 9 times out of 10, man, that gonna be a woman. Yeah. If you and her can conversate, kick it, just by you having that vehicle is a plus in her life. Cause she ain't gotta drive that bus and she ain't gotta ask nobody to take her nowhere. But at first, that's how I saw it. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, the woman just probably trying to holler, I got this vehicle. You know what I mean? And then when her grandmother passed, and it was a little brown Cavalier, gold Cavalier, brown or gold Cavalier, but in a way was given, I think she had to pay $500 for it, but in a way it was basically really given. So I started staying, like I said, I was working 5-10 minutes away from the house, her house. So I started staying over there all, every day, you know what I mean? I'm working 5 days out the week, so I was over there every day. And when she got that car, that's when I went on and took the tourist back to Cuz. So that kind of let me know, now you probably could have still been with this woman even without a car. You know what I mean? And you know, it was 13 years. You know what I mean? But that's really basically, you know, how we met. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, I had to look back and change some things in my mind that I thought because it looked this way. You got what I'm saying? And I got to the point in my life I won't gonna accuse nobody of cheating on me if I don't have no proof. You know, I won't gonna accuse nobody just because they're not picking up the phone. It may look like this man you around, y'all hollering at each other or y'all too friendly with each other. And the first thing I'm thinking is that y'all, y'all in a whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it is disrespectful to me. So I had to really go back and rethink some things, you know what I mean? And like I said, at first, beautiful, you know what I mean? I would say for the first year, we had some ups and downs, you know what I mean? We did, you know, I did get physical with her, physical violent with her. I did get verbally, verbally violent with her within that first year. You know what I mean? So let me put it to you this way: that first year revealed a lot, and I regret ever being verbally violent or physically violent. You know what I mean? I regretted it then. You know what I'm saying? And I still regret it now. I still ask for forgiveness now. I'm not gonna say that a lot of my reasons I don't want to talk to her, don't want to see her, or don't want to deal with her is based on that. Cause I don't have no guilt. I don't have no, I don't have no guilt when I see her. I've apologized. I've asked for her forgiveness, which she have given me. So I have no guilt about it. I have sympathy. I have what would they call it? Reflection. I have reflection. You know what I mean? I reflect on it, and I try to build my strength on it to never do it again to anyone. You know, and I built that strength in a relationship, in my marriage with her. You know, because the last part of our marriage, I mean, a good 4 years, you know what I mean? I meant I wasn't going to ever put my hands on her. I meant I wasn't going to ever raise my voice, in a way that it would lead to me and her getting physical violent with each other. I learned to walk away, you know what I mean? But you'll hear more about us. But that's how we met. You know what I mean? That's how we met. And throughout this book, you'll hear a lot more about our relationship. But I'm going to get into chapter 1, the love and respect experience. And chapter 1, basically, you know what I mean, as it says, and they live happily ever after. Not necessarily. Proverbs 24:16, for a righteous man falls 7 times and rises again. All right, let's get into this, man. One of our chief concerns at Love and Respect is not that people hear the message, important as that is, but what couples who attend a conference or read the book will go on to practice love and respect effectively in their daily lives. Of course, I realize each couple has this very same concern, and that's why my heart goes out to those I hear from who get it, but who aren't able to stay with it consistently. See, that's the part of, you get that? Did you hear that? Who get it, but who aren't able to stay with it consistently. See, that was something that, most women I dealt, not just my wife, not just my ex-wife, most women I've dealt with, when it came down to me explaining what I see wrong with you and why we clash, they may get it together for 2 weeks, may get it together for a week, and then it's back to the same old BS. And no, I didn't leave. It's plenty of reasons. You know what I mean? Being a sucker for the punani, being a sucker for the kids, and I don't mind being a sucker for nobody kids. You got what I'm saying? Because I've explained to my ex-wife before, I'm here for these kids. You think I'm a fool. I'm saving you from meeting that fool that will kill you. Y'all getting me? You getting me, right? Because you ask her, you ask some of the family members, they'll tell you he's a good man, but he's a nasty man. That one thing they ain't gonna never tell you, that I'm a 100% crut man. I'm a messed up man. No, I'm a good man. I get in there, I pay these bills. I get in there, I treat you with respect. I do for my wife, I do for kids that's not mine. I respect my woman. But I can be a nasty man also. If it's some things I don't like going on, I'm gonna voice my opinion. I'm not gonna wait, I'm gonna voice my opinion. If there's some things that's going on in my home I don't like, I shut it down right then and there, take the plug out. You got what I'm saying? If it's running off electric, I take the plug out. If you think, if like my son-in-law, the oldest boy, when he got, his last years of high school, a lot of his friends thought they were gonna be able to cut school at the house. No, you getting up out here. This ain't no cut house. If my son-in-laws don't miss school, don't cut school in this house, what makes you think you can? I can give a hoot what my wife at the time telling you can do. She going to work. That means it's time for you to leave. When Mike go out there to catch that bus, it's time for you to go on where you going. But if that's being a nasty person, then I raise my hand to it and I own up to it, because you ain't cutting in my house. You got what I'm saying? I could see if you're out of school. I could see if you had graduated a year before Mike and you over here chilling with Mike, and it got to the point Mike ain't want to take you home because he got to get up early in the morning and go to school. I get that part of it. Go on, sleep it off, dog. Go on, sleep. But when Mike do his little 2 classes and come home, it's time for you to roll on up out here. I don't want to look up in your face all day. I ain't your mama, I ain't your daddy, I ain't your uncle, I ain't your grandpappy, I ain't even your brother. So it's time to roll. Give me a break from looking up in your damn face. But they have learned that love and respect sounds simple, but it's not so easy to do. Maybe not natural is a better phrase. I understand sorrow, and I don't find it easy or natural either. And we have conducted love and respect conferences over 200 times during the last 10 years. These are some of the many confessions I've heard from spouses who are struggling. I'm desperately praying for the Holy Spirit to help me change and be a more respectful wife. It hasn't been easy though, and I fail much more often than not. Love and respect works great when we are participating, practicing it, but we are not consistent. It's hard not to fall back into old patterns. I am so defensive, it isn't funny. I am continuously amazed at how quickly we can go from a spin on a crazy cycle. I want to cry thinking how my level of knowledge far outweighs my level of obedience. You got it? Do you get the word obedience? Do you get the word knowledge? Do you get the level of knowledge far outweighs my level of obedience? What person out here is really obedient? We sit here, we tip these vials. We sit here, we go into these buildings and we congregate with a church, and when you think about the scriptures really deal with being obedience. The commandments, if you're following the commandments, then you're being obedient. You're following the 42 laws of Matt, then you're being obedient. So if there's a struggle inside of you to be obedient with the person you love, the person that loves you, then you're not making that sacrifice for them. You're not. And my biggest thing about marriage that I learned, marriage is a sacrifice. That's it. That's it. If you can't make a sacrifice, don't get married. If you can't make a sacrifice, don't have no kids. If you can't make a sacrifice, don't even build relationships with people. Don't build it at all, because relationships is give and take. It's never going to be everybody catering to you. Everybody doing everything for you, but you're doing nothing for nobody. That's not how relationships go. So if you're a selfish person and you don't know how to sacrifice, be a bachelor. Stay a bachelor. Stay fatherless. Stay motherless. At this point, you may be wondering, why is Emerson starting this book with such bad news from couples who fail? How can this help us? Hear me out. I am not trying to discourage you. I want to encourage you by saying right up front that love and respect is not a magic bullet. You will try it and find that you won't always practice it perfectly. To realize this truth and use it is a great source of strength and power. I love Proverbs 24:16 because it gives me such hope. Good people are not perfect, but God says a righteous man or woman falls 7 times and rises again. And how do you rise again? Here are 3 guidelines. All right, before we get into the guidelines, do we understand what love is? Do we understand what love is? Unconditional love is? All right. I know I understand what love is. I understand what unconditional love is. I know what it is to be in love with someone. And I know what it is to love someone. And another thing I want to explain about our marriage, I stand on shallow glass, cracked glass. And I tell you, I know that woman still loves me. I know that woman loved me during my marriage, during our marriage. I will say it came a time that she lost respect for me. And see, it's hard to get respect back because I lost respect for her also. Respect is something that when you lose it, it's hard to get it back. You know what I mean? It's hard for a person to see you different, especially women. You know what I mean? When a woman lose respect for you, they kiki hard with you. They conversate with you, but they ain't got no respect for you. They don't have none for you. None at all. You know what I mean? You're somebody that you're around them because you've been around them for a while. You know what I mean? There's a mutual interest. Y'all either know somebody, y'all either brothers and sisters, y'all either got kids together, y'all either family members. You know what I mean? It's something that ties y'all together. And now one of y'all have done the worst to the other one, where that you don't never want to deal with them again. You don't want to see them, you don't want nothing. But it's hard for to gain a person respect back. You know what I mean? When you lose that, you lose it. You know what I mean? And that's what I was fighting for in my marriage. Because see, one thing that proved to me she loved me is this right here. For all the people she knows, she could have did some crazy stuff to me. You know what I mean? She could have, when I give up the rent money, the grocery money, she could have took that money. You know what I mean? Packed the kids up took the kids out the house, stayed with somebody else, let the, ain't no food in the refrigerator, ain't no lights, ain't no electric. Of course she gonna pay the rent, because if I hop up and I leave, then her and the kids will come back. But see, she never did that to me. Now she probably go out and cheat on me. She probably go out, we'll have a argument in public. She'll call me a nigga. See, all that's disrespectful to me. I don't never want to argue with my woman. I don't never want to argue with my kids in public. I don't want to argue with a stranger in public. You got what I'm saying? That ain't for the world to see. That ain't for the world to hear. That's we supposed to have a dialogue, a discussion. We don't supposed to argue. We don't supposed to be where that we're getting heated, we're getting mad, we're saying things to each other that's offensive. You know what I mean? It don't never supposed to get like that in public. But that's what I feel was disrespectful. That's what I was trying to fight to get back. That she should know, don't disrespect me, because you ain't doing nothing but testing me. You know what I mean? You're testing me to see if I would get physical or verbally abusive with you. And I ain't gonna win that all the time. I ain't gonna win it. You know what I mean? It's, I ain't gonna sit here and say that, yeah, I won that. She put the test there, I won that. No, I ain't gonna never sit there and say I won all of them. I would say in our ending of our marriage, yeah, I was winning. I was putting up enough strength. I was practicing enough strength to not let this woman, what the word, piss me off. I laugh at some things. I get away from her. You know what I mean? But, those other 9 years, you know what I mean? Those other 9 years in them 13 years, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I done lost sometimes. I done lost. She done lost. You know what I mean? The things I've asked her to work on, she lost working on it. You know what I mean? But let's get back into the 3 steps. Number 1, never give up. If you want to have a strong marriage, you need to accept temporary setbacks as part of the game. In baseball terms, keep stepping back up to the plate. According to the baseball statisticians, even Hall of Famers fail to get a hit even 7 out of 10 times. And Babe Ruth, perhaps the greatest slugger of all time, struck out over 1,300 times more than anyone of his day. Number 2, seek forgiveness from God and your spouse. A wife writes, I failed to communicate respect to my husband. I've asked the Lord to forgive me, and I am preparing an email to ask my husband to forgive me as well. A husband reports, I know now how I failed as a husband, friend, and lover. And I've asked God and my wife for forgiveness. Ephesians 4:32 say it all. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Sarah and I often find ourselves turning to each other and saying, I'm sorry again. Number 3, ask God to take your hand. Psalms 37:24 promises that though you stumble, you will not fall, for the Lord will uphold you with his hand. We need God's helping hand, and it's always there for us. If we ask him humbly and confidently for guidance. Those are 3 steps, man. So asking God for a hand, seeking forgiveness from God and your spouse, and never give up, right? Right? Okay. So even with me reading that, I still walked away from my marriage. I don't look at it as I gave up. I knew I was fighting a fight that will kill me in the end. You know what I mean? That will break me down. In the end, the lifestyle she started to living had already took off. Had already taken off. There was nothing I could say to her, for her to come back and say, you know something, hubby, forget this, you're more important. And like I said to you before, if you go back, look at my first clips of the love and respect experience. You know, a person not gonna, when they'll put their fight up to pick you up, when they'll stop fighting for you, they're not gonna come back and fight for you. You got what I'm saying? The rest was up to me. And at that time, I had no fight in me. You know what I mean? I was fighting for my marriage. But as far as me being mentally capable to really go into society, work a 9 to 5, go into society and deal with the everyday BS you deal with on these jobs and these careers, no. I don't think I would have been able to do that and deal with what I was dealing with at home. You know what I mean? And when I did feel comfortable, strong enough to do it, she didn't want me to do it. So basically our last years, maybe the last 4-5 years of our marriage was basically to turn me down worse. You know, that's my insight. You know, that's how I feel. That's how when I look back on our marriage, those last 4-5 years, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a man that said, oh man, I don't want to lose my ex-wife. I don't want to lose my wife. I'm going to make this right. I'm going to make this better, so I'm going to put up a fight. But it takes two to make it work. While I'm fighting, she's not fighting. She's just enjoying life. You know what I mean? So we both ate what we were supposed to eat. I know I'm full. I know I got a good meal out of it. You know what I mean? I got a good meal. I got a lot of knowledge out of being married. I got a knowledge out of any woman that fits her characteristics. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you a bad woman. That's not what I'm saying, but I understand you more because you have a lot of her characteristics in you. And I know that, yeah, we could be compatible, but I know where I'm supposed to go right instead of left at. The storybook ending is always, and they live happily ever after. We know that's not really true because the slips, the bumps, and the falls do come on crazy ways. Life is not a matter of attaining some kind of marital nirvana. Living happily ever after means knowing how to deal with the imperfect parts of life, not accepting them with resignation, but dealing with them through God's forgiveness and help, and always getting back up when you fall. In a very real sense, the rest of this book is about just that. As you and your spouse will discover as you mine the riches of love and respect. Well, let's end this with a prayer. You know, let's end this off with the prayer that's written in here. There's a prayer and there's action. So let's end this with a prayer. And it's a short one, but let's roll. Thank the Lord for his forgiveness, his grace, and the righteousness that only he can bestow. Thank him for his promise that through the righteous fall, they can rise again and continue to build a strong marriage with love and respect. Ask God to put it in your heart to refuse to let defeat you. Amen. Got it? So those of y'all out there, you know, working on your marriage, that's a prayer for you. That's a prayer for you right there. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a prayer. Now the action of this is said, make personalized copies of Proverbs 24:16 that say, for a righteous spouse falls 7 times and rises again, and put them up on bathroom mirrors, inside cupboard doors, and in other places where you will see them every day for discussion questions. See, yeah, I used to do that. You know, there was certain things I put in my phone. You know, as a calendar event, I put in my phone that make sure you say something nice to your wife. Make sure not to argue. Make sure to get up before she get up and have her breakfast, you know, together, because she will have to, you know what I mean, either be late for work or she will have to get to work, clock in late, you know, or leave. Either way, she'll lose time because she's home. And you know what I mean? My ex-wife was the type of woman, if she got to be to work at 7, she ain't getting up to 6:30. Instead of getting up at 6, she'll get up at 6:30. She'll try to get every bit of sleep she can get. So it came a time, you know, like the roles changed. She was the predominant one working. You know, when I became disabled, I wasn't working. You know what I mean? I didn't have a job. You know, I wasn't working at all. I was at home husband. At home, a husband, what they say, housewife, house husband. That's what I was. You know what I mean? And when I was working and she wasn't working, she made sure I never had to cook. I never had to do much anything. You know, I did help her clean up on my days off. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Helped her wash clothes. I did all that on my days off. But as far as me, you know, cooking my meals, you know, on my work day, really having to straighten things up, no, I didn't have to do that. So, you know, when the roles changed, and it was concrete that it changed, which was probably 2 weeks into my disability, you know what I mean, I had to, you know, treat her as she treated me. You know what I mean? So, once again, that's a prayer for you. That's something to work on. I would just say this, you know, we learned today marriage is what? A sacrifice. We learned today that, you know, you gotta have respect in your marriage. You gotta have it. You know, I'm one to testify. If you don't have respect, it ain't gonna work, because you need both of them. You need love and you need respect. Because see, if you respect something, 9 times out of 10, you love it. You got what I'm saying? But see, you can love something and not respect it. You can, because see, you can understand something and not deal with it. You got what I'm saying? Like, I understand Islam, but that's not my religion of choice. I understand gay people, but I'm not gay. You following me now? Look, this the nasty pastor. I love you. Holler back at you.